So, Darren, you know the government cares for you, right? They care so much for you, as evidenced by the CARES Act. Well, recently they passed the HEROES Act, which is the second COVID relief bill.
Is that what they're calling it?
Yeah, I cannot wait to get in and educate you guys on what it actually is and why you need to be upset about it and what we can do.
So there was one big steaming pile of turd that they put a big bow on.
Well, it's
then
something
this
like
is
that.
a pile of manure that they put
The only way I can get through a conversation like this is to have a delicious beverage.
Thank goodness.
Which we do have. The official beer, the Beer and Business Podcast, Line Creek. We are drinking an amazing black double IPA.
I love this.
Yes, it's called Freeze Gopher. It's part of the Total Consciousness series. It's amazing. And I cannot think of another beer that I would rather have talking about a difficult subject like this. So if you happen to watch on YouTube, look at how dark that bad boy is.
It's amazing.
This is not a stout,
Cheers.
not a porter. This is an IPA, folks.
Tell you what. And get it while it lasts, because it's going fast.
I may fill a walk-in cooler with that.
You better do it quick.
Oh, man, that is so good. It is almost like a cross between maybe a stout or a porter and an IPA. It's got kind of that smoky richness, but it's definitely an IPA. It's got the hoppy back end. It doesn't taste what it looks like. It's so weird.
No.
Another home run by Line Creek. Folks, if you're in the Atlanta area, come down to Peachtree City. Go to the brewery. It's open.
Yes, it is.
It's a lot of fun. You can hang out. You can pick up some beer. Or if you can't make it to the brewery, go to your local grocery store. That's a store.
The store by the shore?
The store by the yeah, thank you very
Sally
much.
work at that store?
That's none of your business. Go to your favorite store or bottle shop and pick up some Line Creek, because it's amazing. They're a great sponsor, great supporter of the show, so you need to support them. Buy it, or I'll come to your house and make you.
Bring it to you.
Or I'll just bring you some, because I'm so dumb I don't really understand how sponsorship works, so just... Here, buy this. Oh, wait, I gave it to you. Oh, hell, whatever.
As long as let you share one with them, right?
Well, that's cool. Yes.
There you go.
Okay, so let's get into this, Darren. We were all so happy
For how many
about
days?
the CARES Act when it came out. I'm making light of this. We shouldn't laugh too much about it, because it's a very serious subject.
They tried.
They did try. But so many... I was doing some research before the show, because I really wanted to understand some specifics about this bill and several other things. So since COVID started in March, do you know how many small businesses have closed?
I know this is a serious topic, but I'm going to have a hard time keeping a straight face through the episode. How many businesses have closed since March of last year?
How much of these have you been drinking already?
I got to giggle. I mean, I guess.
Folks, I got a podcast with him.
How many businesses have closed since March of last year?
1 in 5.
1 in 5.
1 in 5 small businesses in the U.S. have closed since the COVID outbreak.
That sucks.
It's awful.
Sorry.
Now, I want to get everybody straight on one.
You said small businesses?
Small business.
Okay.
Yep.
But the big ones are still open.
Well, some of them are really open, which we'll get into.
But anyway.
It's a terrible number. Mm-hmm. It's a terrible number. And I want to start by getting some nomenclature right.
Okay.
So these businesses have not closed because of COVID. And I have even said that myself many times.
Mm-hmm.
They've closed because of the response to COVID. So the virus didn't close businesses. Our reaction, the shutdowns, the lockdowns, the public's unease with going out to dinner, even when restaurants did open. It was the response to the disease or the infection. It wasn't the actual sickness.
These are national numbers that you're talking about? Or
national numbers.
Okay.
1 in 5. So these businesses have closed because of our response.
Our response, not the actual
Not
disease
the
itself.
actual virus.
Gotcha. Just want to make sure we've got a baseline to go from.
Because everything that we're talking about here is what we've done since we've known about it.
Oh, yeah. Let's just handicap our economy.
Right.
Sorry.
Did
I jump ahead a little there?
Yeah. So we did an episode on the CARES Act when it came out, and we detailed some of the great help that the government was giving us at the time.
Mitch McConnell calling on that episode, didn't we?
Maybe.
There.
We'll talk about the relief package.
We did talk about the CARES Act.
We did. And it was not good.
Uncomfortable.
Yeah, it wasn't good. The stimulus payments, okay, great. Thanks for sending me money that I'm going to have to pay for at some point anyways. Mm-hmm. But then there was the Paycheck Protection Program. Mm-hmm. And
PPP.
The PPP. And then there was the Economic Injury Relief
EIDL.
Loan.
Yeah.
Or Economic Injury Disaster Loan.
EIDL.
Yeah,
that was
which was a disaster itself.
Holy crap. Just trying to get your money.
PPP ran out of cash. EIDL ran out of cash. It was too little too late for a lot of businesses because they had already closed by the time these things had come out. And there was pork in the bill. There was ridiculous spending in that bill.
No.
Yes.
Really?
Believe it or not.
Who'd have thunk?
So,
I wonder how many lobbyists actually went out of business. I wonder if they were the one in.
Let me tell you something. The business in Washington, D.C. is good right now.
Yeah, I know.
It's good to be a lobbyist. Because even if your constituency goes out of business, there's another one right there. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's ridiculous. So I don't want to talk too much about the CARES Act. You guys, this is it's January 7th, mm-hmm. Thursday, January 7th, and most likely within the last couple of days, you've received a deposit in your bank account from the federal government. Round 2.
$600, baby.
$600 a person.
Or in your mailbox.
It is round 2 of COVID relief.
Well,
called the HEROES Act.
You know what's going to happen later this spring?
What's that?
As we're going into that, all those EIDL loans or the PPP loans that mm-hmm. Aren't being forgiven. It's been no payment, interest only.
Sure.
Guess what? You got to start paying.
Principal, mm-hmm. Yes. But I wanted to...
Well, your business is still trying to recover. Oh, he's got some stats, folks.
I had to take notes because this stuff is worthy of taking notes and going through. So the new COVID relief bill called the HEROES Act.
The HEROES Act.
Yes. I know, for frig's sake. It is. I want to start with the top level stuff. Let me share something. Not that far back.
Oh,
let me start with something. The reason why I wanted to do this is because I've talked to several people that have no idea what's in this. They have not been paying attention. All they've been paying attention to is the senatorial runoff in Georgia, Trump supporters storming the White House, their own business, and nobody's paying attention to this.
The HEROES Act.
Yes.
How long has this been in the works?
It passed about a week ago.
Just kind of
fresh off the shit presses.
It's still running.
So
this is a new bill. It's a bill that was signed in at the last minute.
It is 5,593 pages.
That's
55.
Almost as long.
Have you
How
ever
long is
read
Obamacare? 49. Was it 49,000?
Oh gosh, pages? I think Obamacare was 6,000. No. It was huge.
It's huge. And this is 59,000.
5,593.
Oh, 5,500. Okay.
Yeah. Now let me ask you: have you ever read a 5,500 page book?
No, I'm trying to think. One of the longest books I read, I think, was The Stand, and I think that was almost 800. And that was 5,500 page bill, just mm-hmm. one bill. Mm-hmm. Oh, I want to know where all the coattails are on this sucker. I want to see who's getting.
Wait. Wait. Okay. It gets so good. Just in case you have not been following this, they released it to the House to review 2 hours before it was voted on. This is no joke. You can look it up. 2 hours. So it's released, and they tell everybody we're voting on it in 2 hours. You just dropped a 5,500-page steaming pile of crap in my lap, and I'm supposed to read it, understand it, and in good conscience cast a vote for or against this?
You used the wrong phrase. That doesn't have to do with gerrymandering. What the hell is that? No.
It's a steaming pile is what it is.
2 hours beforehand.
It's crazy.
That would be like getting divorced, and all of a sudden, your spouse comes up to you, hey, by the way, here's the divorce. I want a divorce. Here it is. And we're going to court in an hour.
Well, okay, but let me tell you how absurd this is, okay?
It's ridiculous.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I think she's nuts. I don't like her, okay? But I did agree with her because when this came out, first time I've really agreed with her on anything, this thing comes out and she sends out a tweet and says that this 5,593-page bill was put to the floor for review and is being voted on in 2 hours. And she had some rant on Twitter about how insane that is.
Maybe she should have taken those extra seconds to review the bill that she needed.
Well, hold on. There's a punchline here. So I'm like, oh my God, I actually agree with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and that makes perfect freaking sense. Yes, why the hell would you do something that outrageous and give everybody 2 hours to review and vote on? You can't even summarize it in 2 hours.
No.
So 2 hours later, she voted yes for it. No shit.
What?
It's out there. Look it up.
How is she a speed reader?
No, she said that's the craziest thing ever. It's an abomination, and then she votes yes.
What?
What the hell?
She just read the bold print.
It's like, why could you? If you were, oh, Lord, grant me serenity right now.
Really?
If that's your conviction, then you can't vote yes for it. So, right? I mean, what the hell's wrong with people?
And they have a right to actually postpone that vote based on.
There's probably parliamentary tricks that they could do.
There's things that they could do.
Absolutely.
They could have done for that easily.
But they didn't. They voted it through. And folks, when we go through this, it is going to make you very nauseous to know what your government just did.
How much beer do we have?
Not enough.
Okay.
Now, I want to preface something before we go through everything in this bill and we have this discussion. And I'm looking at the camera right now. If you're watching video, please do not believe a word Darren and I say. We're idiots.
Go fact check it yourself.
Yes.
Because we may be wrong.
But we're not, because
we might be. Just saying. Fact
but seriously, go do your own. This is one of the things that bothers me so much about what's going on today in news media. Is we're just supposed to just believe what everybody says.
We tell people that all the time, though.
We do.
If we say something, please go fact check it.
If we're wrong, challenge us. We'll issue a correction.
If you don't think this is a good beer,
you're an idiot.
Then yeah, you're foolish. But it is a damn good beer.
It's a yummy one.
But anyway.
So seriously, go look this up. All right. So this 5,500-page bill was $1.4 trillion. Which is a lot of money. Now, Darren, we got our $600 payments.
Woohoo!
Yeah, you feeling great about that?
As somebody said when I was like, woohoo, they said, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. That was $600 more than you had. And I was just like, yeah, but how much of the economy can I stimulate with this? How many jobs can I...
All right, so you want me to make you really, really sick and upset?
Yeah, I'm going to have to pay it all back.
No, you're not. And by the way, as it relates to stimulus payments, so if you got a payment, I was asked this the other day by a business owner.
One really quick. Yeah, gerrymandering was not the right phrase at all. I apologize. So
what was the? Did you figure
gerrymandering has to do with voting,
districting?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. So sorry,
but you're drinking Line Creek, so it's okay if you're.
No, it's just me spouting off stupid, useless.
Well, it is Darren. Okay. I got asked this the other day, the stimulus payments. Mm-hmm. So if you've gotten these checks, so the first round, the second round, they're not taxable. I'm not your accountant. Please check with your accountant.
Not taxable. So that's a good thing. So it doesn't go towards your income.
Right. It's a...
not that it would bump you up into a new tax bracket.
I'm not an accountant, obviously, and you're going to know this by how I'm describing this, but there's different types of, like, there's tax credits, tax refund credits, and there's a form. This payment is a form of a tax credit refund, I think, that is not taxable. So
we had that
it will not
years ago, though.
Yeah, it will not be added to your income. Mm-hmm. But again, check with your accountant just to make sure. I'm not your freaking accountant, okay? Mm-hmm. But
imagine
if I was, you'd be in trouble.
Well, it'd be like a capital gains type thing, and then it's like, well, you're going to pay 25% on that regardless. Yeah. It's just straight line, 25%.
You're not getting taxed on it. But here's the thing. There are restrictions on this second round of stimulus payments.
Where I can spend it?
No, on income levels. So if you're above a certain income level, I think it's $75,000 for individuals, $150,000 for couples.
You got a laugh track?
No, I have this. No, this is the one I'm going for. Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
I was trying to do that without looking, and I hit the wrong button. Yeah, so if you make over $150,000 as a couple, you're not getting money. But your kids might. That's the one thing that's not clear to me. Anyways, so I did some math, and based on the restrictions, I come up with there's probably about 300 million of these payments going out.
300 million.
300 million,
$600.
It's $180 billion. Okay.
And
that
the
only
US
represents
The United States is how far in debt?
that only represents 13% of the 1.4 trillion.
The 1.4 trillion that is available, that has been allocated.
In this bill.
Bill.
No, not allocated, spent.
Oh, spent.
Yes. So
You're welcome, senators.
yeah. So we're doing this for you guys. We're doing it for
your
you.
retirement's been funded again for the rest of its life.
But 87% of what we're spending is on. So there's the
People
100.
don't know what that arm thing was that you just did.
That's a.
Okay.
Yes. So
180 million
180 billion
out of 1.4 trillion.
That were the stimulus payments.
This
They
is
also
just for this.
Yeah, they also in this act they extended the pandemic unemployment assistance, which had ran until about the end of the year. They extended it to March 14th. I don't know what the total paycheck is on that, but they extended that, and they also increased the number of weeks of benefits that an individual can claim on unemployment from 39 to 50 weeks, which coincides with the timeline. If you've been getting unemployment that whole time and it gets extended to March, well, the weeks would have to increase too.
Heck, I know people who have filed for unemployment months ago
And not gotten any.
still haven't gotten anything.
Well, the unemployment thing worries me because there's a lot of, what's the right word? Fuckery going
It's a good
on.
word. Thank you,
I know
Amy Winehouse.
so many.
She's used that in one of her albums.
I know a lot of people. I know personally people that have, I guess we can kind of take advantage of that and dance around in the gray area.
Not good.
Yeah. So there's a lot of people that have taken advantage of it. Plus, it's not getting unemployment doesn't do anything. We're not creating things. We're not creating jobs. We're just paying people to wait.
How can you create a job when one out of every 5 businesses have closed?
Right. There's also in this bill they extend the PPP. So now more businesses can apply for PPP. And but here's the
You can, and I was actually on the website today.
Yeah.
And it's still it's like, where do you actually, what button am I supposed to click on now
Holy
to do
God,
it? I mean, that's even convoluted.
It's convoluted as hell. But here's the thing. If you already did your PPP loan and you maxed out the amount that they would lend you, you're done. There's not a second round for you.
I'm not sure if I feel bad about that or not, because I think some people took advantage of it.
Sure. No.
And they maxed it out. And now it's like, oh, I want another handout. And it's like, you know what? I know your business is up and running, doing fine. You don't need it. You got through your first one. And yes, you helped out. It helped out a lot of businesses. I'm not saying it didn't.
But here's the problem. It helped businesses out, but it was abused. It came too late. In businesses that it helped, it probably didn't help enough. It wasn't proportional to how much your business was impacted. There were so many things that were wrong with PPP, and all they did was extend it. And if you didn't max out your loan with the first round of PPP, let's just say that you were approved for $30,000 and you took out 20. Well, now you can take out that additional 10. So you can do a second round and take out the balance of what you were approved for.
That's good.
Only if there's money available, because it freaking ran out of money the first time. It'll run out again.
Well, if I do the math between 18 billion or 118 billion, 18 billion and 1.4 trillion.
180 billion.
180 billion and 1.4 trillion. There should be money there.
But no, there's not, because it's been allocated elsewhere.
Should we
Oh, hold on, Darren. Oh, it gets good.
Damn, I don't get to use the whiteboard.
Oh, no, it gets real good.
Oh, boy.
So the PPP thing, how much does it help businesses that have already closed? Zero. It is not a good solution for saving businesses. I would go as far to say, I will step out and go as far to say as It didn't work the first time.
That's good. Good thing to say.
Right. It didn't work the first time. Why is it going to work the second time? They really didn't change anything. Mm-hmm. Okay. But there is a ton of money left. Where did it go?
Are you going to tell us?
Oh, yes. This is what I picked out some special pieces of this 5,500 page
following
bill.
the yellow
First
brick
of all,
road right now.
Let me be very clear. I haven't read all 5,500 pages because who has that kind of freaking time?
In 2 hours?
Nobody.
Period.
I can't read a 50. First of all, I wouldn't make it through 100 pages of a freaking law.
Couldn't they turn it into like Audible? Couldn't you download it on Audible and
Jesus.
listen to it?
You know what? That'd be a
four
great
times
way.
the speed?
That would be the best way to go to sleep. Just start that like
50. No, it'd probably infuriate you so much you'd be up all night long.
Wouldn't sleep a wink, actually. No, I have not read all 5,593 pages because that would be impossible.
If you skimmed it.
But I did. I picked some stuff out. I picked out some really interesting things.
Oh, boy.
So.
Keyword search through the whole document.
Okay. Darren, what's our national debt?
Something trillions.
27. It's over $27 trillion now.
Which, you know what? It doesn't matter. That's how big it is. Who the F cares? That's how big it is.
It's an insane amount of money. But somehow, $27 trillion in debt, businesses are hurting, all these shutdowns, yet we still found money for foreign aid.
For what?
Foreign aid?
Got to keep our neighbors happy.
So there's, in this bill...
Oh, it's insane.
No.
I've heard some of these numbers.
Just wait. It gets really good. $86 million going to Cambodia for assistance. And if you're not watching, that was air quotes. $86 million going to Cambodia. You know what? They could have just sent that to Launch and Go.
That we would have done fine. We could have made...
That would have been awesome.
We would have helped out.
No, they sent it to freaking Cambodia. $130 million went to Nepal. Because the Nepalese, I mean, they we need to make sure we...
You know why? Too many Americans going up Mount Everest there and to help clean up all the...
You ever heard of Burma?
I know where Burma is.
They got $135 million.
To do what?
Who knows?
Take care of the elephants?
Now, is there or is there not corruption in Ukraine?
Do you mean it? Freaking loaded question.
Come on, give to me answer, Darren. It's good.
It depends.
Was Ukraine not in the center of the supposed Trump
Biden
collusion, Russian collusion? Biden. Yes,
well, his son is still working with somebody over in that region.
Ukraine got $453 million.
Hush money.
Sudan, they needed a check. $700 million.
One of the richest countries countries in the world, and we had to give them money?
$700 million to Sudan.
They would probably send it back and out of laughter.
No,
they'll take it.
I had to quote this.
This is insane. What did you find out? What some of this money was for? Well, Cambodia. I get Cambodia's for. We're sorry that we were back in the 60s and 70s trouncing around your area.
So, I had to quote this. Of the funds appropriated under Title III of the Act that are made available for assistance for Pakistan, not less than $15 million shall be made available for democracy programs, and not less than $10 million shall be made available for gender programs. Yes.
Gender.
$10 million to Pakistan for gender programs.
So they can go around and check to see who's a boy and who's a girl.
Okay, guys.
Is that right?
Who freaking knows? Nobody knows what the hell this is.
We are a generous country, and we like to let our money flow outward.
I understand the government debt, the spending, these things, they can get kind of convoluted, and it's hard to understand.
It's apology money.
I want to explain this in a
Not going
way.
to take the bait on that one, are you?
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm going to explain this in a way that you could follow in your own life, because our country is in a ridiculous amount of debt. So let's just assume that you are in a household that, we'll use some easy numbers. You make $100 million or $100,000 a year. I wish you made $100 million. You don't. Sorry. So you make $100,000 a year in your household.
Okay.
But yet you've got almost $1 million in debt or higher, a ridiculous amount of debt.
27 trillion, maybe?
But let's just call it $1 million, because I want people to think about this in your own household. You're making $100,000.
You got $1 million in debt.
You got $1 million in debt. And every year it's getting higher because you can't outrun the principal. Your debt gets higher every month
So that
or every
doesn't
year.
include the mortgage on your house.
That could be all in.
Okay.
Just to keep it simple,
Right.
you owe $1 million, and every year, next year it's 1.1, it's 1.2. It keeps getting higher, but you're making payments. But it's not enough because the interest is too high, and you just keep sinking, and you keep spending, and then you run into trouble. Your job is in jeopardy. You may lose your job
Because of COVID?
Oh gosh, who knows? And then your neighbor says, "Hey, can I borrow? No, not borrow. Can I just have $5,000?" And you're like, "But I'm over $1 million in debt and sinking, and I might lose my job."
Remember the time when your pool overflowed and it went down in my front yard, and you were kind enough to replace the sod when it flooded out? I just kind of need some extra money now.
No. I need you to give me $5,000 because I want to take a gender study course at the community college.
Well, that makes sense.
I mean, this is the freaking absurdity of this. Our country is hurting.
I know.
Our debt is out of control and it's spiraling. If you go to the debt clock right now, there are websites that have the federal debt clock.
It's scary.
It is scary. The number that is moving with the second hand. So if you sit there and you look at the number that counts with the seconds, it's at the 10 million. 10 million.
That's how much
20
more
million,
we're going
30 million.
into.
Every second.
The whole.
Every second. Don't believe me? Go look up the debt clock.
The debt
$10 million a second.
Mm-hmm.
And we're sending money to Pakistan for gender programs. I'm sorry. That's our money.
I could resolve that really fast. We could send them 2 pictures.
Boys have a penis, girls have a vagina.
I mean, we teach this in 6th grade here, and sometimes earlier. I mean,
I'm sure it has something to do with.
Don't even extrapolate on that.
I'm not.
But yes,
the point is
where
we
put
don't
this
have the frickin' money.
Well, and it's what's really, we are such a nice country that like the countries who owe us, and they're like, you know what, we can't pay you right now.
Right. I mean,
And we're like, oh, that's okay, no problem.
it's one thing to be the world's police, and I'm not even getting into that conversation right now. It's just in a normal year, this is bad enough, but right now we're hurting. This is a troubling time, and this was supposed to be COVID relief for Americans.
But we can help out everybody else.
Oh, but with what? With whose money?
You want to go back to like FDR days and go to straight isolation? Well, that was FDR, wasn't it?
But let's continue because it's not just
There it
foreign
goes.
aid. Back to the sheet. There's actually, get this,
Holy sheet.
there's actually a commission tasked with educating consumers about the dangers associated with using or storing portable fuel containers for flammable liquids near an open flame. That is
Wait a second.
freaking quoted.
Say that again. This came out of, this is
is
out
so
of the
good, folks.
5,500 pages.
Shit.
What the hell just happened?
My
Sorry,
chair broke.
his chair just
Dude, you
like-
guys got to watch the YouTube videos.
Drop.
There's some shit that happens in here. Woo. Okay, this is quoted.
This is out of the 5,500 pages.
Yes, this is so good. There's a commission tasked with educating, quote, consumers about the dangers associated with using or storing portable fuel containers for flammable liquids near an open flame.
God.
You're paying for it, guys.
Hank Hill from King of the Hill.
You are paying
I
for
wish
it.
I could do as well. Bobby, talk about propane.
Damn it, Bobby.
Propane tank. There's, you know, that is
Propane
somebody
and
who
propane
just
accessories.
got voted into a new office, and they've got some kid who is a worthless burnout. Sorry, just use it.
Works for the company that makes.
I need to get my son out of my basement. He's been here too long. Well, honey, you just got this new job working in the government. You know what? I'm going to create a task force. I'm going to get it paid.
I think if
And this
you
is-
store gasoline cans near an open flame, it could be dangerous.
Should I
You know
put-
what?
I like to light candles, scented
Let's
candles.
throw 50 million at it and study it.
Is that how much it is?
I don't know. It doesn't.
Could you
it
imagine-
might say it. There's 5,500 freaking
So-
pages. I don't know.
Could you imagine just taking, just saying, you got all your gas cans for your lawnmowers and all that stuff. And you're like, you know what? That really smells bad. I went to what's one of those candle stores, those smell good candle stores, and I bought some smelly candles. So I'm going to light that right there to get rid of the gasoline smell.
Folks, you're paying for it.
I could tell you what, I could have done a study and probably taken 1/100 to that.
So
Saved
I know
the
you were
country a lot of money.
Darren. Before the show, you were telling me how worried you were about the Kennedy Center.
Sure,
'Cause you were-
sure I was. Yeah, that was on my mind.
We talk about it all the time. So in the care, this is, you can't help but laugh because this is so freaking crazy.
Oh my gosh.
The Kennedy Center got $25 million in the CARES Act
For what?
for maintenance, security, and stuff.
To black out.
But
Ted's
you know
name?
what?
To remove anything
We
about
weren't done.
Chappaquiddick.
They got another $40 million in the HEROES Act.
How? Whoa! They got 25 million in the CARES Act.
And then another 40 in this one. That's wonderful.
$65 million.
Thanks, guys. Thank you for paying for that. That's
Because
awesome.
the Kennedys don't have enough of their own money to keep that thing running. I'm just saying.
And
Jesus.
the bill, dude.
I'm sorry. You know what's so funny? If you're actually watching the video when it comes out, you would be amazed with all of this stuff that we are still on our first beer.
We are actually.
On it,
Should probably
I mean-
pick it up.
I don't mean we should be drinking a lot, but God, listening to all these facts, I would be.
Yeah, we might need
Should
to
be.
switch to something harder. The bill creates a women's history museum and an American Latino museum as part of the Smithsonian. I repeat.
They're going to make
Hold on.
two
Hold
new
on.
museums.
Let's just savor this for a minute. I repeat. The bill creates a women's history museum and an American Latino museum as part of the Smithsonian.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. Overall, folks, drum roll please.
Here it comes.
The Smithsonian got $1 billion in this bill. With a B, folks, $1 billion.
In all fairness, Smithsonian is a pretty amazing place.
Agree.
I
don't
love
want to
this.
give them $1 billion freaking dollars.
How much do they normally get each year from the government?
It's not $1 billion. I guarantee you that. Folks, this is what bipartisan looks like. It's just a hog trough.
Gosh, it is.
Get this one.
Well, I mean, the two, okay, without upsetting all of our female listeners, I mean, there is a point to have female history. I get it.
But why couldn't we do it next year when we're making money?
Not now.
Why?
Not now when we're in a
Exactly. That's
world
my
that-
whole point.
I mean,
am
we're
I
not
against
even-
these things?
Yeah, we're not even eating out of the trough anymore, folks. I mean, we're eating scraps on the ground that have fallen out of the trough and fighting with the rats for some of that. Maybe that's a bad
Does it cost
analogy.
money to get in the Smithsonian?
Yeah.
So why don't they use ticket money?
Because
No, my point is, it's not that I'd necessarily be against these
or
things.
the
It's the fact that we're
Look
doing
at their
it right
endowment
now.
fund.
Oh my God!
okay, forget
Freaking
that.
Crazy.
The endowment fund can cover any of that stuff.
It is absolutely bonkers. Follow the money. This is so corrupt.
What else
okay,
you got?
this one. Love this one.
I may have to open up another beer.
I don't know the dollars on this one, but it does include a, quote, statement of policy regarding the succession or reincarnation of the Dalai Lama.
You said reincarnation of the Dalai Lama. This so we're giving
or succession,
money.
The succession or recreation.
Or recreation or
reincarnation.
Reincarnation of the Dalai Lama. Well, that's why we're giving Nepal so much money.
They probably got $1 billion too. I mean, what the hell?
They're going to buy one of those Michael Jackson tanks, and that's where they're going to stick them in there, and then they can just...
We also set aside funds to...
How much are we giving to that? You don't know. Okay.
I don't know. There's funds set aside for the, quote, study of Springfield, Illinois, race riot. Now, Darren, the important thing... They're doing a study on the race riot in Springfield. But here's the important point. That study, or that riot, rather, took place in 1908.
That's good, huh?
Again, people's ears perked folks, up. We don't have any freaking money.
People's ears perked up. They're like, what riot in Springfield, Illinois? And they're
the one that happened
in 1908.
Over 100 years ago. That's the one.
Before the first Great Depression, before
You're going to be
World
really
War
excited about
I.
this one, though, Darren, because there's some good stuff in here, too.
Well, I'll tell you why people perked up. Now, what really would have got you if it just said Springfield and it had to do with Homer Simpson?
I might have been down for that.
You know.
But they do have
Mo.
money.
Welcome to Mo's Bar.
Hey. You're going to be really excited about this because actually you've asked about this in the past, Darren. There's going to be a 5-year strategy to address the underlying cases of poverty and inequality in El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras.
Bring it up every morning over breakfast. How did you know? Why do we have to...
And...
El Salvador,
there
Guatemala,
is
and third world countries, right? Why is there a poverty problem?
Because they have politicians like ours.
Gosh, I'm just saying.
There's $35.2 billion set aside for clean energy projects.
Billion
with a B.
Billion.
Clean energy projects, air quotes. I don't even know what the hell that means. It's a disaster.
Where's Al Gore when you need him?
Oh my God. $1.4 trillion of pork.
And all that money is, and 180 million.
Billion. 180 billion.
I'm not going to get
13%. It's all right.
13% of the bill is to help out.
But that was your direct payments.
America.
And you can argue part
earn under 75,000 as a single or 100,000 as a couple. 150 as a couple.
Mm-hmm.
You get $600. Stimulate the economy that way.
And there was some money carved out for unemployment and the PPP program if you didn't already get access to it. But
sorry,
we don't want to be on unemployment. We want to be back to work.
5,500 page.
5593.
Called the HEROES Act.
Yes.
Who came up with the acronym? What the hell does it stand for?
You know what? I don't know. I don't give a flying fuck. Don't care.
Here's every reason other... I don't know. Read the...
Serenity now.
We're going to have to take a pause, people. I think we're both going to have to walk around the block.
I want you to be infuriated because this is a disaster. It's disgusting. It really is disgusting. And folks, before you start pointing fingers at those political people, they were all in on it. This is Washington, D.C. It's
guess what happens when you become
two different sides of the same coin. It's unbelievable. And this is maddening to me. And we've been talking about a lot of other stuff this year that is just crazy. I mean, this is all for COVID relief, but the things that are hurting us are not COVID. It's the damn response to COVID. It's not the damn virus. It's the response.
Well, to get some of these things that have been, and this bill was passed.
You got the money, didn't you?
Yeah. That's
It
what
passed.
I'm saying. It shows up 2 hours before the vote. It got the majority votes. The damn thing passed, and the money's gone out. And everybody else, El Salvador study, whatever, is getting their money because it's all in there. And you can't.
I've seen so many people describe the $600 payment as the STFU payment,
Yeah, it is.
the shut the frig up payment.
It's
I
insulting
just got a
almost.
little check. Oh, well, that's good. I got
It's
some
not
money.
even enough to buy a decent big screen
Look
TV.
over here at your direct deposit. You just got a little bit of money. Meanwhile, over here, they are literally stripping you blind. And I need to make a few very important points about how this is being paid for, because I think a lot of times,
Go ahead. I'm going to save mine for a minute. Go ahead.
a lot of times we look at it, it's like, well, it's debt. Maybe I don't have to worry about paying for it in my lifetime or whatever, or they're going to tax the rich and pay for it.
Bullshit.
There's two ways that this gets paid for.
Middle class.
What's that?
The middle class.
What is that? That doesn't exist anymore.
Well, they're going to, in the newest bill that they'll put out there, they're going to broaden the horizons of where the income is for the middle class so they can capture actually more of that.
They should have put a 5-year study in there on how to eliminate the middle class, because pretty much what it is. So there's two ways that we pay for this. And I think this is a very important thing for people to understand. Number one, taxes. And just so we're all clear, you can't tax the rich and pay for all this.
Can't tax the rich.
You can,
because they've got two good accountants.
I don't know if you knew this, but you can tax rich people more than poor people.
Oh, you can tax the hell out of them.
Because we've been doing it my whole freaking life.
Yeah. We tax the hell out of them.
We do.
But what they actually wind up paying,
Well, no. The vast majority of taxes are paid by rich people.
sure, it is.
And I'm okay with that.
Rich individuals, people. I know people are like, well, I've heard that.
You're
right.
very important.
Corporations are totally different than rich people. Rich people actually pay their taxes.
Yes.
It's corporations that kind of find a way through the loopholes and things like that.
But individuals do as well. But let's just put the loopholes aside. Individuals do pay taxes. Corporations consider taxes as cost of business, cost of doing business. And therefore, the price that you pay for goods and services have taxes factored in.
They collect it.
It just is what it is. So, yes, the rich will always pay more than their fair share in taxes. They always have. They always will. But that money comes from everybody. But let's put taxes aside, because there's another way that we pay for this. We pay for it with taxes. The other way that we pay for this, Darren,
Blood, sweat, and tears.
inflation.
What? Mm-hmm. What's inflation?
Let me ask
let's
you.
go back.
Riddle me this, Darren.
Remember paying $5 a gallon in gas?
Well, let's put gas aside. Let's put gas aside, because that's a really important point. Groceries. 5 years ago, you could fill a cart, go to the grocery store, and get out of there, whatever that dollar amount. You go fill that same cart today, it's much more expensive, isn't it?
Bueno, yeah.
And
Muy dinero.
it's affecting everything. It's affecting groceries. It's affecting goods and services. It's affecting your home. That's why home values are going crazy. It's inflation. Your money doesn't go as far as it did just 5 years ago.
Is that what inflation means?
Yes, that's exactly what it means.
So I still
a
make
dollar
the
is
same
worth less.
amount, but it doesn't spend as much.
Did you know
as it
over
did?
half of the money, half of the dollars, let's get specific, the US dollars, more than half of them that are in circulation right now were printed in the last year? Does that make you scared?
It's because all the old, well, they were
Sick in your belly
recycling.
a
It's
little
all the old bills that they were trying to bring back in because they were tired.
No, that's not exactly what
It's
we're
new
talking
money
about
that
here.
they put out into circulation. That's not good.
It's not good at all.
You know why?
It's scary as hell.
They're trying to compete with Bitcoin. That's what it is.
But everything's
No.
getting more expensive.
Yeah.
Except
Well, hold on. Let's bring it for people who don't understand what that actually means. A lot of times there is a recycling process with money, right? And they do tell the banks and such, when you receive these currencies, if a bill is before this date this year, bring it in, we'll exchange it for monetary value, supposedly, right? So they could destroy those bills. And then we're going to put out some new bills, so it's like $1 per dollar. They haven't done that. All they've done is printed some more dollars.
When I say more than half, that means that, let's just use round numbers.
50% of the existing bills that are out there in the market, they have...
No. The total value. So let's just say that there was $1 trillion, and I'm using easy numbers. There was $1 trillion in circulation, and within the last year, it's gone to more than 1.5 trillion. So it's not yes, there is the replacing that happens. I'm just talking about the net number of U.S. dollars in circulation is up more than 50% in the last year.
You know why?
Because the money's got to come from somewhere.
It's because everybody's been watching that Escobar show, Narco, on Netflix. And they're like, oh, cash is king.
It is.
I don't need to be having my activities traced, so I'm going to use real
why is it
cash.
that all of these establishments won't give coins because there's a coin shortage?
Coin shortage for what reason, yeah.
I'm confused.
Especially when you whip out the little plastic thing. Whoop.
Yes, it just does not make any damn sense. All of this craziness, all this nonsense for COVID relief. What's the matter?
We're here to talk about the heroes and act and everything else, and you bring only this much beer today.
It's enough. For God's sakes, people, if you want to...
It is enough. It is enough. And this is a delicious... Hold on. Pause. Hold your thought. Because
you want me to pause?
Pause, please.
I'm going to pause.
So this is cue the applause. Once again.
I see what you did there, Darren. That was really brilliant.
That really came out after the fact. I didn't even mean that one. You got to play. Okay.
Thank you, Darren.
A delicious Pilsner. We've drank this on the show before.
Yes, it's actually really good. Nice and
the
clean.
Cats, Batman and Junior on one side and Bruno the dog on the other. And for every 6-pack that you purchase of this, Line Creek is donating $1 to the Royal Animal Refuge.
Yes.
So
it's actually a really good beer.
It's delicious. I love this one. So anyway, back to what you were saying.
Yes, thank you for talking about that delicious Line Creek beer. Oh, I got to hurry up and drink my IPA so I can have one of those. All this
currency's out there. The dollar is inflated by 50%.
Yeah. I'm just saying that
deflated by
this isn't a crazy thing that we're doing. It's an enormous amount of money. You are going to pay for it in more ways than one, in taxes and inflation. It's really scary. We do not have the money for this, folks. We do not.
Oh,
this is going to come home to roost somehow.
Debt. It's only $27 trillion. What's the big deal?
Sure. Yeah, no big deal, guys.
You know what happens if one of these...
Have you tried to put 27 trillion into the calculator on your phone? It doesn't work. It's too much money. It's crazy. All of this for COVID relief, okay? Getting back to this. But it's not COVID that's caused these problems. It is the response to COVID. And I get it. We have talked a lot about COVID on this show, and I know that many of you are scared, and we have told people from the beginning, we respect, in my business today still, if somebody wants me to wear a mask around them, I will. If they don't want me to, I'm comfortable with that. I try to respect people in their thoughts and opinions on this thing, unless you're driving your car by yourself with a mask on. Stop that, please.
Oh, please.
Lord have mercy.
You need all the
There's no
oxygen you can
germs
get.
in there. Just cheer out, okay? Right. But we've been
the
very
windows rolled up in your car
and the rubber gloves on. Don't do that, please. Don't be that guy. We've been very, very consistent. We try to respect people. We'll do what people feel comfortable with. I want to do what I feel comfortable with, and I think you should have the same rights.
Too, but people won't let me. I got arrested for it.
I'm not talking about that level of comfort,
okay.
Darren.
Sorry.
But I am, every day that passes, I get more and more infuriated about the disinformation and craziness regarding COVID. Here we are still chasing, we're throwing shit tons of money at this crazy bill because we got to make changes for COVID, and yet we're not changing. I mean, California went back to an indefinite lockdown. You still have states that are just really, really
Hawaii
restrictive.
get arrested right now if you're not wearing a mask.
It's unbelievable.
Insane.
All
You got
this
a new sheet of paper with new facts for us?
No, I don't want another sheet of paper because I will literally lose my mind. But all this is predicated on the stuff that we know about COVID. And I do not trust this at all. I got really, and I want you guys, again, do not believe us. Go fact check all this stuff.
Check multiple media sources, though, folks. Try to find one.
But not MSNBC because they're assholes. Oh, shit. Will I get us sued?
Probably.
I said WSN3C.
Check SNL.
That's what I said. And if you think I said something else, whatever. No, seriously, fact check us. But I am so bent out of shape about this, and I want you to do some critical thinking. Mm-hmm. Now, who do you know, Darren? Who? Anybody that's had the flu this year? Flu season typically starts in November. We are in the peak, the absolute peak of flu season right now. It's January. Oh. Who do you know? Nobody. I've asked this question to several people this week. Mm-hmm. Nobody knows anybody that has had the flu. Not one person.
Huh. Wonder what that...
But we all know somebody that tested positive for COVID. Mm-hmm. Every one of you listening to this just went, oh, shit. That's a good point.
Really good point. But I will say...
Go to the CDC's website right now.
Oh, this is good. I have already heard some of this stuff. This is
Go
really
to
good
the
stuff.
CDC's website right now. The entire country is green for
With
flu.
envy, because we're doing so well.
The CDC tracks influenza outbreak for A and B strain of flu. We are green across the board. It's unbelievable. We are never ever green across the board this time of year, ever.
Usually everybody's kind of yucky right now.
Why?
Oh, there's a lot of speculation. I could tell you lots of things.
I think I know. Now, I'm not a doctor.
This is your opinion.
This is my opinion. But I want you to do a little critical thinking here, because when I say this, it's going to make sense.
Check the COVID box.
Yeah. So Darren, do you know what the National Institute of Health is?
I've heard of it about 10 minutes before we started the show.
There's a little truth for you.
Hey. Yes. Go ahead.
It is a government entity.
Oh,
shocking.
There's the first fault.
You know what? They've probably got some money in the bill, too. There's 5,500 pages in there that I haven't read yet. I'm sure they got some money, folks. The NIH.
I don't think I could finish reading that by the end of the year, okay?
Not by the end of my life. I couldn't even make it through a page of it. Would just give me heartburn. No, the NIH is the organization that sets kind of standards of care, and there are so many government entities when it comes to healthcare. Forgive me if you're confused, because I am too. But the NIH has standards of care for COVID out there. Mm-hmm. Now, test me on this. Talk to your friends. Do it yourself. I don't care. Go to the doctor with any type of symptoms.
Any sniffles,
any symptoms
cough,
that sound like you may have COVID.
Or the flu.
No.
Or a cold.
I don't know what you're talking about. COVID.
Flu or a cold. Because
never heard of that before. I'm a doctor.
This is flu and cold season, right?
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Why do I have to figure all this out? I could just pigeonhole you in
if you go to the doctor with the fever right now, they're going to say, let's do a COVID test. You may have COVID, and you probably have COVID, and let's do a COVID test.
And we get our money.
And so you do the COVID test. And you know what the doctor does? The standard of care from the NIH. Don't believe me? Look it up. Standard of care from NIH is to send you home with no medicine.
No medicine. They can't even write you a script, tell you to go pick it up. It's just
go home, you don't lots of fluids.
Boom, you're done.
I hope you feel better. You may have COVID, and that's the standard of care.
Can't even get like a Z-Pack or
no.
Tamiflu or nothing.
No.
Why would they want to, you know,
the standard of
things
care
from
is to
happening?
go home.
They're hoping that you're going to get sicker and it'll evolve into COVID.
The standard of care is go home.
It's called thinning the herd.
Then, if your symptoms worsen, I guess that would be proper English. Obviously, I'm not a doctor or a literary English professor type. Jesus. If your symptoms worsen, then you were supposed to go back to the hospital, and you'll get admitted to be cared for in the hospital.
They're going to admit you now.
And give you fluids, and if things get worse, potentially put you on a respirator.
Medicine?
No,
just give you fluids. Do what you would do at home.
Right.
Stay in bed.
Monitor.
Have fluids. Make sure you're okay. But you could do it at the
Even
hospital.
though there has been many studies showing different medicines work, if you even mention the word hydroxychloroquine, everybody says that Trump wants you to inject bleach in your veins. No, there's been many, many doctors have shown hydroxychloroquine is an effective medicine if it's combined with something else. I can't remember what the hell it is. Again, not a doctor.
Not a doctor or a scientist.
That's not a standard of care from NIH. Get this. There have been, again, folks, fact check me, please. Vitamin D. We talked about vitamin D.
Oh my gosh, that's the best thing for you.
Do you know how many studies have been done on the correlation between vitamin D and COVID?
A bunch. You know how many have been out there in the public that's like common knowledge for everybody without having to dig? None.
Are you sure?
Oh, there's probably one out there.
There's plenty.
You know
but
what?
the problem is nobody's looking at them.
We should have somehow done a new study and got it paid for in the bill.
I was reading something. There is such a strong correlation between vitamin D deficiency and COVID. It's unbelievable. The study that I read, ICU patients, 80% of them were deficient between 18 parts per million vitamin D, which vitamin D is a hormone, folks, not a vitamin. Okay, but you can get supplements.
Learned that on an episode here.
Yes, we did. 80% of ICU patients with COVID lower than 18 parts per million. That's a pretty strong correlation, and 0 patients above 21 parts per million.
Let me see. We're going to tell you, with COVID, you need to isolate and stay inside your homes.
Will taking vitamin D cure you of COVID or prevent you from getting it? I don't freaking know. I'm not a doctor.
But let's put it this way.
There's enough evidence,
There's
right?
a big blazing ball of orangey yellow thing up there in the sky that provides a sufficient amount of vitamin D, and especially
You're not allowed to see him right now.
in the morning hours, according to another guest that we had on, that if you spent just 30 minutes before you burned your ass, if you have Irish pigmentation, that's a good way to get vitamin D as well. And you could lessen your chances of catching it.
Cue the applause. Smells good.
I still have my whole thing about the Kennedy Center that we haven't talked about, but we'll do that later.
Okay, so
Performing arts centers. That one's not going to struggle, but all the others in the world are.
yeah.
Wonder why.
So we know vitamin D.
Yes.
There is way too much evidence that vitamin D is strongly correlated to your ability to either fight off or survive COVID, whatever. Nobody's talking about it. Guess who's taking vitamin D supplements right now? Dr. Fauci.
Of course he is. Is he telling everybody?
Nope. Not a freaking word. It is.
You know what they could do?
What could they do?
They could open some of the borders to tropical areas and let you go on vacation for a week and absorb all the vitamin D that...
Vacation kills.
Oh, no.
I'm not trying to make light of this, and I don't want...
This stuff sucks, folks.
It does.
And we just want you, again, as we've always said, we just want you to open your eyes, maybe think a little differently, or go do some... go check these facts on your own.
Please.
And open up your brains a little bit.
I don't want to make light of COVID. I know some of you listening know somebody that got really sick because of COVID. Maybe some of you listening had a loved one die, and I'm not making light of COVID. just like I wouldn't make light of the flu, just like I wouldn't make light of norovirus, just like I wouldn't make light of... What are you doing?
What do you keep talking?
Are you taking a picture in the middle of the freaking podcast? You are, you jerk.
For our socials. For the
We're doing the
socials.
socials.
Picture the Jake.
I'm not making light of this. What I am saying is that I don't think you're getting a straight story. I don't think that 100% of the people sick right now have COVID. I think that we've got people with norovirus, people with flu that are being misdiagnosed. Not only are they being misdiagnosed, so we don't know what the true flu numbers are and what the true COVID numbers are, but they're not getting the treatment. I just talked to somebody last week that went to the doctor, swore that they had strep throat. They've had it a million times before, know all the symptoms. I got strep. Went into the doctor. Doctor said, I think you have COVID. Take the COVID test.
Negative.
She says, I'm telling you, I have strep. Please do the strep test. Give me my antibiotics. Give me some penicillin. I know I have strep. We're going to test you for COVID. You got a fever. You've probably been exposed.
It was like $8,000 for every COVID test, right?
I don't know.
13 if you admit them to the hospital. Something. Those are the numbers.
The payment. The payouts. Well, that's the hospitals. That's for hospitalizations.
You still have to get.
But here's the thing. She left her doctor. No antibiotics. Doctor would not prescribe them. Doctor thought she had COVID. She took the COVID test.
Didn't give her the strep test, though.
Didn't give her the strep test. Gave her the COVID test. Would not do the strep test. Gave her the COVID test. COVID test came back negative.
No shit. Because she has strep
By
throat.
the time she got the negative COVID test results, which was a few days later, she was feeling better. So it's like, oh, do you want to come back in for the strep test? Well, shit, I've already gotten through the worst of it.
No, you could already build my insurance company for the freaking strep test and got your damn money for it. But you know what? They only get paid X amount of dollars, tiny little bit of money for a strep test. But if they give you a COVID test, they get this much bigger dollars.
It's ridiculous. Is COVID real? Yes, COVID is a real virus. We've said that from the beginning.
Question.
Yes.
Remember back when the beginning, when you couldn't find toilet paper on the shelves because people were supposedly shitting their brains out when they had COVID. One of the first, I guess that was an early symptom that people were willing to talk about, right? Do you remember? I swear to I'm not kidding.
I remember.
But how many people that you have met who have, as this has gone on, that have gotten it, that have been like, here have been my, symptoms. It's this, this, and this. People aren't like, I don't have exploding bowel movements or, so either that was really happening way back when it first started, but the bodies or the virus is mutating and explosive diarrhea is no longer a symptom, or people just aren't talking about it anymore.
Or it was misdiagnosed.
Oh, that could have been the case because they were good.
It's maddening.
We don't know the answers.
We don't. And the problem is there are people that have very real motivation to spread disinformation. And if you don't believe us, go back to the facts we just shared with you in the stupid spending bill. It's absolutely asinine. There is motivation. There is, when the public fears something like this, it is an open door for bipartisan legislation.
You know, it's a fear.
COVID relief, it's good.
My dollar doesn't spend as much as it should.
Yeah, it's really bad. So we're in a tough space right now. We're being lied to on a regular basis. We actually have, I know, imagine it. We're doing an episode next week. We have somebody coming on the podcast, a journalist.
Oh.
We're going to talk about fake news.
What?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
No news is fake news, Jake.
Oh, it's all real.
Of course, to Trump,
people are lying to us. Media is lying to us. Politicians are lying to us.
They are.
People that you trust, people that you like are lying to you. I guarantee it. Guaranteed. It's a bad place that we're in.
You mean even the clerk at the grocery store says, "Have a nice day"?
She's
She's
literally,
lying to me.
if she's checking you out as a customer,
As a
she's
customer,
going,
thank
you
you.
go fuck yourself. I hate you. Put his picture up in the back room. Do not ever let this guy back in the store. He's creepy. He's Irish. He's kind of pale and reddish.
He's polite. He'll try to make you laugh. He only says
He touches
yes.
you inappropriately. It's awful. I don't want him in here ever again. Have a nice day.
And it's in the back of the podcast studio. That's the only place.
Yes. People are lying to you. This is a bad thing.
Please be kind to your fellow man and woman, persons out there.
Yes. I hear things like this, Bill, and it just infuriates me so bad. Our first goal today was to just lay this stuff out and get you pissed, because you should be pissed. I don't care if you're a Democrat. I don't care if you're a Republican, independent,
Get pissed.
a libertarian. I don't care what you are. You should hear this and you should be pissed, not pissed drunk like this guy.
Yes, you actually should be. I mean, this
Well,
is,
you should be pissed drunk.
No, but yeah.
You should be angry. This is unacceptable.
On all sides. I don't care. Yeah.
Everybody's
Man,
in on
woman,
it.
Republican,
Except
Democrat,
us.
independent, you name it. We need to really teach.
It's bad, folks. I want you pissed and motivated. Now, what can we do?
In a good way. Not like the way not what happened, as we say, yesterday was not a good way to be mad and upset.
Oh, storming the Capitol and going nuts?
Well,
That's bad.
everybody knew it was going to happen.
By the way, did you see that Antifa put out flyers to go to this rally and to dress as Trump supporters?
Did you not think that wasn't going to happen?
Of course. It's like a total
all-
no-brainer.
If you would
So
look
now
in
you
the
don't even know,
crystal
like, who's in...
ball-
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, you don't know who it really was and who it was, and who. Yeah,
Who it is and who it is. It depends on what your definition of the word is.
the tail that wags the dog.
Hey, that's my
Maybe
line.
that's what it is. Yeah, please go out, do your research.
It depends on what your definition
Oh God, Bill.
of the word
Go, Bill.
is.
Bill.
I feel your pain.
The word is no.
It is a total shit show. It really is. So, pissed off, you want to do something about it, we're going to give you some things that you can do. Because we, the people,
Can we play the Lee Greenwood song then?
God bless America.
No, it's Proud to be American.
Or proud of, yeah. It's a good one. No, we can't, because YouTube would ban us forever for playing stuff that we don't have
And
license
if
to.
you actually check out his background and his history, he was an alcoholic and abusive to his wife. Oh, but he played a great
I was
song
with
for
you until
America.
you said abusive. Alcoholic, I can deal with
You
that.
know, just saying. Check the facts, folks. That's all I'm saying. Check the facts
But-
first. But yeah,
What can we do? First and foremost,
learn how to vote
shut up.
and bring the people up that we need to that won't be
first and
influenced.
foremost, Aaron, right now, what everybody needs to do,
Go get vitamin D.
support, go get vitamin D. We've talked about that
I've
before.
been listening to the podcast. I should get vitamin
good.
D.
That's good for you. You should. You need to be supporting local.
Yes, you do.
We talk about it all the time because obviously our show is geared towards entrepreneurs, and we love entrepreneurs. We love small business. Now more than ever, you need to be supporting small business.
Smarting.
Sorry, I'm trying not to
You want to
burp.
get that burp out? Smarting.
Excuse me. Okay.
That's how you support small businesses. You smart them. It's a
I'm
new
trying
word.
not to vomit on the microphone. Sorry, guys.
No, I get it. Because big businesses are going to survive no matter what. Most of them pretty much have, right? Unless they were on their way out anyway beforehand. So small to medium businesses, they need your help
They do.
in a big way.
It is awful.
Launch and Go needs
so
your help.
ironic. So ironic that we're doing this episode. I have a good friend that just got hired at Amazon. Amazon, love them. We've talked about it before. Great company, great service, all that stuff. Darren, do you have any idea how many employees, Darren, or
I know how many employees I have, yes.
you have 0? Do you have any idea how many employees Amazon has added incrementally? Not
Oh, because of this that's been...
not like hiring for attrition. Do you know how many employees Amazon has added incrementally?
in the past year.
Since COVID.
Yeah. Well, yeah, since COVID, it's about a year. Incrementally, probably 10,000 a month. More than 10,000 people a month.
So my buddy he just got hired, went through the whole process. Since COVID, they have added 400,000 employees. Whew. So while some businesses are struggling and going out of business,
Jeff
1 in 5
still
small
can't get a
businesses,
rocket into space the way he should and land back on the ground right.
who should be like Elon Musk.
Yeah.
400,000 employees added.
That's insane.
On fire. On fire. They are killing it.
This business is on fire. Sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry,
fire.
Alicia Keys. I just ruined your song.
Well, pretty much. You'll never listen to it again, folks. 400,000.
That's crazy.
1 in 5 small businesses has already
Out
gone
of
under.
business in the past year.
And so many struggling. And Amazon is killing it. Support local. I'm not telling you not to like Amazon. I love Amazon. Great company. I use them.
I ask you a question.
Yes.
If I want something now and I want it today, I'm like, boom, I need this. I want it. How far away is the store?
Not far.
Probably has it in the store, doesn't it?
Right?
So you could drive over there and you could have it now or today. But that's way too inconvenient. But you're willing to wait 2 days to get it just by clicking a button.
I get it. Amazon's easy. I love Amazon.
But that's the thing. You could have it now if you just stop at your local place and buy it. You don't have to wait 2 days for it.
But I think it's a lot of times it's effort versus time. It's like one button
I know, it's 11
versus getting in the car.
It's 11 o'clock
Get in the
at night.
freaking car.
Yeah, but 11 o'clock at night, I can't go get in my car and go buy it right then.
Don't be Darren. Folks, the second thing you can do is don't be Darren.
Those are impulse purchases.
Just
anyway,
don't
people.
be buying shit at midnight.
Don't buy
for Christ's
the
sake, after you've been
impulsive stuff
drinking
that I buy.
half a bottle of whiskey or ordering freaking, I don't even want to know what you order on Amazon at midnight after whiskey. But support local. I don't care how hard it is. Do it.
Do it.
We, Darren, you and I, and everybody listening, we small business owners, we need you.
Yes,
we need you supporting local.
We do. And there's a lot of different reasons too. I mean, the synergy's there, the community's there. You don't have that community on Amazon.
You don't.
You don't have the. You
or
ever go
Walmart or Target, insert big company here.
It doesn't matter. Every Saturday, I go to one of 2 farmers markets.
And you get the best boiled peanuts I've ever had in my freaking life.
And I'm getting you more this Saturday. They are.
Really?
They're delicious.
Oh my God, they use the Valencia nuts.
They're so good. But that's where I get my eggs. That's where I get my produce. I run into people. Let me see. I'm outside getting a little vitamin D. I talk to people. I feel good because I'm having a good time.
Does that make you happy?
Happiness boosts your immune system? Who'd ever thunk?
It's weird.
Strange.
Huh.
So that's how I fight COVID.
Support local. There are businesses on the ropes right now, and these are people giving everything. Mortgage their houses. They've got everything on the line. We, right now, need to support local. I'm trying not to throw up again.
What's up with this beer?
It's so good. I'm drinking it too fast. It's making me burp. That's a problem.
Oh, you're burping. Folks. Not throwing up. Yeah, please support local.
The other thing, too, is as long as you're in a place that you can, go to a restaurant. Please.
Does it let you go?
Go. We have restaurants open in Georgia.
We do.
And so I've got all my kids' birthdays are around Christmas. So one of the things we do for the kids on their birthdays is shut up, Darren. One of the
anything, just do the math, folks. Do the math.
They're all within
Christmas,
10 days.
9 months.
I hear all the jokes. Y'all can go to hell.
Figure it out.
All my kids came around St. Patty's Days, guys. I'm a Mullins. I'm an Irishman.
No, what happens when you kiss a Barney Stone?
True story, folks.
Can't
anyways, back to
he's dressed up like a leprechaun.
Darren Flanagan, folks. What do I?
Anyway.
I have to podcast with them. Anyways, so one of the things we do for our kids is we take them out to dinner. They love it on their birthday. Your choice. I don't care how bad it is. Levi scared me, but we ended up doing okay with him.
It's like, oh God, we might be going to Burger King.
That's exactly what I thought. I'm like, oh Jesus, I'm going to end up in the damn jungle gym at Burger King for his birthday, but we didn't. Restaurants here are open, and I'm saddened by how many people are there. Go out today. If you're comfortable, again, going back to our whole thing in the beginning, if you're a person where you're okay with it, go.
One of my favorite restaurants still is only open for to go.
God, that makes me sad.
But they're scared because it's a small place, and if they actually open their doors to do the 6 feet, they might be able to seat like 12 customers.
You get to sit on top of your car.
Yeah,
I don't want to.
So they do to go only, but it's, oh man.
Yeah, it's
love that place.
If you have the chance, go out to dinner and do it a lot. Restaurants need us right now. That industry. I'm about to freaking burp again, man.
I did too, but I can hear somebody coming home to her husband. Hey, I don't have to cook tonight. Why? Because Jake said that we need to go out and support the businesses, the restaurants as much as possible. So I'm not cooking all week long because Jake told me that we have to do that.
Guilty. I'm good with that.
The Beer and Business podcast said that we need to
do it. Go out to dinner.
You got a $600 check. Go do something with it.
And here's the next thing. If you're comfortable, travel, please. I'm going on vacation.
Hell yeah. I was
in less than a month. Yeah, you just got back from Vegas.
I'm back from Vegas. It was, and they take all the precautions in the world out. I mean, everywhere you go, you got a mask on, you got a mask. You pull it down to drink your drink. They're like, hey, put it back up. You don't get to linger. They are super cautious.
Shit. I want to linger.
I've been out there twice. I went out there during Halloween and Christmas.
But
it's not a holiday thing, people. It's just
coinky dink.
I'm not going back again.
But you went to Vegas over Christmas.
Yeah.
And are you okay? Did you fly on an airplane, a super spreader machine?
Tell you what.
And you didn't get the COVID?
I think, honestly, I will say this. I may wear a mask when I fly, no matter what in the future. It's like that is the last place you're going to catch anything.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Huh. Yeah.
If
you're going on vacation.
I'm going on vacation in less than a month.
And you're going to an amusement park.
Yes.
Which they take all the precautions.
Yeah.
Or so supposedly they're touting.
We're ready. I mean, I'm done at this point. I want to go be normal.
Be somewhere in the South, outdoors with the sun shining down upon your face.
I mean,
it's a good vacation.
Life goes on. We can't live in fear. I get it. There's a virus out there, but there's always been viruses that are a threat to our health. I mean, every year the flu takes tens of thousands of lives in the U.S. every single year. We talked about that in our
we brought those
COVID
stats
episode.
Up. Yeah, they're huge. Those are big
except
numbers.
for this year because we're not testing for flu. So
zero. The zero flu deaths.
Yeah,
zero.
It's crazy. But we've always dealt with this. So if you feel comfortable, if you don't feel comfortable, don't do it. I'm not asking you to do something you don't feel comfortable.
But
if you're good with it,
walk outside your house.
Yes, travel, go outside, support businesses. And here's the other thing too. Have we pissed you off?
I hope so.
If you're listening to this, I hope you do some homework, go out there and say, you know what? Are these guys just drinking beer and full of shit, or is this real? Go out there, do your homework. If you find out that what we're saying is true and it pisses you off, do something about it.
This 509-page bill is out there for the public to read. It's not like it's a secret thing. I mean, it's open. It has to be. But
if I can find it, folks, you can find it.
Even if you don't feel comfortable going out in public and you're still, at least go sit on your front porch, be outside, breathe some fresh air, and read 509 pages.
But the thing is,
of total
you
bullshit.
Need to, if you're not, educate yourself, get involved, so many people I know are, what's the nicest way to put this? Politically illiterate. Like they don't pay attention.
That is a very nice way to put it.
And it's
that
not
was politically correct.
I wasn't trying to be. I was trying to be an ass.
No, but people aren't politically. I wouldn't say that. I think a lot of folks. I mean,
They don't pay attention.
I don't pay attention sometimes, and I will admit it. It's like I
don't either.
I don't want to know what the hell's going on because, and here's part of it, and I think some people agree. I don't want to know because I don't think there's a hell of a lot I can do about it. These folks they're just doing their thing. They're not listening to who put them in office and with the original beliefs of why they were going there. And now they're just going to do whatever the hell they want. And they're being pressured. All right, I'm going to stop. But you do turn a blind eye for a while.
You do.
And all of a sudden, at what point do you go, I think I need to pay attention again? And I think it's more of when you have kids, you do that. You're like, I trust my kids aren't really going to hurt themselves that bad or break down the house. And you kind of have that radar.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, I'm going to try to ignore it, but what the hell was that? And all of a sudden you know something's going on and then you're focused. And I think that's where we need to be a little more.
If the list that we went through doesn't put you in that place, check your pulse.
Oh, that ought to piss you off, everybody.
You should be really freaking out.
Blue, red, neutral, I don't care. That should just...
That it's unacceptable. So you can find out kind of what's going on in the world from mainstream media, but don't use that. Whatever your news source is telling you, I don't care if they lean left or right, they're not giving you everything. Go do your own homework. You can use mainstream media to kind of say, oh, well, a bill was passed. Then go do some freaking work. Do some critical thinking. We all are blessed with these amazing brains. Use it. Because so many times you find that when you dig in, you're like, wait, this is not what my politician that I like said, or this is not what the news company that I listen to said.
Huh.
And you need to be open to that because we are being lied to. This is not okay.
Really?
Yes.
We're being lied to.
We are being lied to.
George Washington never lied to us. He chopped down the cherry tree and he admitted it. So what's happened since then?
A lot. A lot. So be politically astute. I'm not telling you to don't get on Facebook and what are the other socials?
It doesn't
Instagram
matter. Don't go on social media and do it. Actually, go out there, check a few different news sources. Some of the best ones are actually not here in America. Okay.
Right.
And if you actually do travel, that's one of the best things I've learned about traveling internationally. They know our politics so much better than the majority.
Than the average American. You're exactly right.
It's embarrassing.
Because their entire economies are based on ours.
Well, I mean, when they spend,
I mean,
they need our dollar to help
Ronald
keep
Reagan
alive.
said it best.
Yeah.
When the United States gets the sniffles, the rest of the world catches a cold.
There you go. Aww.
I think that's...
He knows how to recite his lines
that
were fed
I'm kind of old and stuff.
No, not you.
No, that's
Reagan.
what...
He's a good actor. Acted with a chimp.
Going back to my point, don't get on social media and start getting in arguments and stuff.
Oh, don't do that.
What I mean by being politically astute or accurate or engaged or whatever, do your homework. And you're probably not going to find the answers on social media because they're very biased. Get out and do some searches. Use an independent search engine like DuckDuckGo. Don't use Google, who is going to...
feed it a certain way, too.
Right. And we probably just fucked over our YouTube channel. Shit.
We didn't say don't go to YouTube, though. We like YouTube.
We love YouTube. We love you. We love you. Don't ban us again. Oh, we're screwed.
Nobody would go there anyway to get political information. But anyway, DuckDuckGo, something else that's not going to skew your search results based on your past. So.
Educate yourself. Use your brain. Please. We need to. And talk to people about it. Talk openly. You can have dialogue. You can... Facebook is just a shit show.
Here's the way you approach dialogue. Going with your heart and your mind open.
Right. And having a discussion.
Conversation and you can allow it to even build up and let yourself get a little excited. But
on social media, you can be a
that's the
complete
worst one.
jackass,
Don't
and
do
most
it that
people
way.
are.
No, I'm talking about a live conversation with
But when you
folks.
sit down with somebody eyeball to eyeball and you're like, okay, I disagree with you on something, that conversation might go somewhere if you're open-minded, you communicate well. Even if you disagree at the end with the other
Especially
person,
when
you
you
can
sit
have a
down
good
with me.
conversation.
You'll always realize that you're wrong in the end.
Right.
I'm laughing at myself, folks.
Darren Flanagan, folks.
He's got a podcast with me.
I do. Even if you disagree, you could have some good dialogue that advances a relationship and all that stuff.
Yes.
You're not going to do that on social media. So don't try to air your political thoughts on social media. That's not getting you anywhere. Be engaged, figure things out, think on your own, get out there and research, and then have conversations with people in person, not on social media. We got to do that. And then push. How many of you have called a congressman or a senator?
I just met with one last year in the middle of one of our state senators here.
Well, you are an enigma because most people never do. Every
What'd you
one of you
just
should
call
be. You are an enigma, believe me.
Yeah.
Call your freaking congressmen and senators and tell them how pissed off you are about this stupid bill.
They're supposed to listen, folks.
But they won't. But if enough
Enough
you
people do, because we're the ones who put their ass in office.
Yes. So
And they wouldn't be there if it wasn't for us, and we can actually change that.
we need to be really, really engaged right now.
An episode about that.
We need to push. We the people, we pay their salaries. We put them there.
Pay their retirement too.
Well, and then they enrich themselves. It's a mess. But we can fix this. We can vote them out. I hear people all the time talk about term limits. We can give them term limits
They need them.
by voting them out.
Yep.
But we just need to be smart about how we do this. You're not going to change hearts and minds on social.
Has to be a collective.
You have to be educated. You have to be in the know about what's going on, and then you have to have one-to-one conversations or in-person conversations, even if it's within a group. But we've got to advance this. And I want to close this episode with some perspective, Darren.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that we're going to be okay.
Yes, we will be.
We will get through this.
We always persevere.
I hope. No.
I've
We will
made it
get
52 years like this.
If
We will
Darren can make
persevere.
it this
Okay.
far,
Anybody can make it this far. We will
a really
persevere.
good point.
I'm sorry. Yes, people are all. They're going to learn. You're going to. You ever have two new cats, or you have one cat and another cat that you're introducing into the house? It's the fastest way to get them used to each other.
make General Tso's chicken.
Well, that is true. But I always say throw two cats in a closet or throw two cats in a dresser drawer instead of doing it the other way. They'll fight it out, and then they'll both get tired of fighting. They're going to be like,
This is dumb.
guess what? We got to live together. And honestly, I believe that the past year, that's kind of how it's been. It's like two cats that have been in a closet, and they're fighting at each other, and they're fighting and fighting. And even all the way up till the shit yesterday, people are fighting about it. Guess what? All of a sudden, you're going to be like, we're in the same boat together for the next 4 years, folks.
Well,
Do you want to go at it with dissension, or do you want to figure out a way to, and I'm tired of fighting. So I want to work with the person who doesn't quite agree with me, because we need to get this shit straightened out, and we can't do it separating from each other.
You're right. One of the biggest ways, going back hundreds of thousands of years, one thing that governments have figured out is that a divided people weakens them.
Yeah.
And we can't allow that to happen. Mm-hmm. I think your point is a good one, Darren. The one thing that I want people to walk away from this conversation really understanding is that perspective matters. Mm-hmm. And if you're right now thinking that we're screwed and the world is over and we can never recover from this,
You just realized I ran out of beer, huh?
yeah, you're
So
actually
now
that
I'm
could be the
thinking
end of the world.
Total despair right now.
If that's your mindset, you're not going to be a help to anybody.
No.
But if you understand how messed up things are and your perspective is we can do something about it, you're right, we can. Mm-hmm. And we must, because Darren is exactly right. We should be banding together to try to figure out how we can solve problems together, not be at each other's throats on social media. I'm getting out of that more and more these days. I don't want to be on there seeing all the nastiness. But you cannot ignore the fact that the media is lying to us. You know, our government's lying to us. You cannot ignore the realities. You cannot ignore the fact that people are exploiting COVID, that we don't have all the facts, that things don't make sense when you really start to dig into the data and you apply common sense.
Yep.
That's not okay for us to be in this space. It's not okay for people to lie to us.
Not going to do it. Not going to do it.
1,000 points of light.
Wouldn't be prudent at this juncture.
We can't let it happen. So we can make a difference. We are still free. Mm-hmm. The last I checked. Kind of. Free-ish.
Ish. Depends when your wife lets you get out of the house.
We cannot accept this. We can make a difference. You can make a difference. And I encourage everybody to get involved and do everything you can to make the world a better place. Lift people up, but don't ignore the problems.
Do it one smile
I'm
at
pushing
a time,
hard.
One kind gesture at a time, folks. And even if that's just listen to somebody else's opinion and not interjecting your own, let them speak. And guess what?
I'm not letting people run me over, but I'm also doing everything I can to stay away from making negative comments on social media and hurting people, tearing people down. I'm not doing that. I'm doing everything I can to do the opposite, lift people up and make the world a better place. But I'm not going to, that's not a form of weakness. That's not weakness.
Not make fun of me anymore?
No, I'm totally making fun of you. But saying those kind of things, that does not mean I'm weak. That does not mean I can be lied to. That does not mean I will let you take advantage of me.
I need to find that quote. There's a great quote that somebody said when it comes to listening. You know, listening is about actually understanding, not preparing what you're going to say back to the person.
It's absolutely right.
And that's the way it should be.
God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, Darren.
A heart with 4 chambers.
Well, folks, I hope that we've left you pissed off, inspired, and ready to go, and thirsty, and ready to go figure out, are we telling you the truth or not?
I don't know.
And assuming that we are, what are you going to do about it? Not the rest of the world, you. And I'm looking at the camera.
People. Fact check us.
Because you can watch us on YouTube, folks.
We want to double our viewership.
And we want to go to 2. We're probably shadow banned after today.
Folks, Happy New Year. This is a great year to start. I can't tell you, I'm so excited with some of the guests that we've already got coming up. This is
next
awesome.
week is going to be awesome. The week after is going to be we've got a hell of a lineup.
There's one person next week. It's just, there's no way in the world that I'm going to be able to keep a straight face at all. I'm so excited.
Well, folks, thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Oh, that's where Mr. Winnie normally says,
See ya.
Shit.